Guys, I paid more than double the price for this book. Let me tell you how. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Collective Comics. We're talking tips and tricks here today. So do me a favor, like, comment, subscribe, and we're going to tell you the story on how I paid more than double for the CGC 9.8 Spider-Man #1.
I know bits and pieces of this story, but I don't know the whole thing, and I need some tips and tricks as well because my bank account would appreciate it.
Yeah, it's a horror story. So I overpaid more than double for this slab. This slab max value at the moment right now is about $115 to $125. There's also listings on eBay. Buy it now listings for $100. Okay.
Okay. I don't know the exact number, but I know it's a bigger one than that.
Before taxes, the final bid, this is a Whatnot story. The final bid before taxes on Whatnot was $265.
Hey, man, these things happen. These things happen sometimes.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. You know, like, I'm trying to tell you guys this so this doesn't happen to you. This is a great book. This is a great cover. I've wanted this book. I'm not upset that I have it. It's the circumstances that I got it under. So like you were saying is that you know bits and pieces of this story. That's not going to happen with that glare. You know bits and pieces of this story with this book. So I am...
I'll hold this for you.
Okay.
Because you're getting excited. You can point at it. You can be like a high school teacher with your pointers.
There we go. That's exactly how we'll run this. But I am fully addicted to Whatnot. I like to sell on Whatnot. I like to buy on Whatnot.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they do these games and they're like, no gambling, no gambling. Well, it's pretty much gambling on Whatnot when you're kind of doing these mystery bags and bidding. So it got down to 1 in 3 odds for me. And that's when I finally was like, I'm going to go in. Because I sat around. So the way the game worked was he had a sheet of paper with numbers 1 through 50 on it. And he had 50 mystery bags in it. And he had about 10 books up there. You know, it might have been 8 books to start out with. So 8 books up there were over $600 slabs.
Okay.
You know, he had like Wolverine #1, Hulk 180, Hulk 181, those books.
Right.
In like 9.6s and 9.8, super high valued dollar books.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what you were going for, you know, so you would pick your number and randomly in this lot of 50, there'd be a sticky note on the back. And that was your indicator, you know, you won #1 or you won A or you won E, you know,
yeah,
and that's the other book that you won on top of the one that you bid on, you know, and that's how you could win these books. Be careful when you're doing this because I got in way over my head.
I have another story. I'm going to end with my story because mine's a little bit more lighthearted than yours. So let's end on a little bit more positive.
Mine hurt. Mine hurt because I paid $265 at the end of the day because it got down to 1 in 3 chances for a Hulk 180, and that's $1,000 book in a 9.8. You know, over $1,000 book. And I've never seen those chances, those odds in my life of getting this book. For $200, you know, that was what was floating through my head. My adrenaline started pumping and my heart started racing. I could feel it like pounding through my chest, pounding through my throat. I'm bidding up.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't let it go. And I paid $265.
Oh, you had to bid on this one?
Yeah, so I had to bid. This was in a mystery bag, so I didn't know what book I was getting. I just knew that I was bidding $265 on a mystery bag. I get to pick my number, and that I have 1 in 3 chances of winning a $1,000 book.
I didn't know that part because the way that I've done mystery bags on Whatnot is totally different. but we'll hit that later.
Okay, yeah, because there's a few different ways to do it, but this is the way that
this was happening.
Gamble without gambling.
Yeah,
because you can't gamble on whatnot. Right. So this wasn't technically gambling.
It's like pick a duck at the carnival.
Yeah,
but you have to pay. You have to first have to bid on your duck.
Yeah, and you have to exactly. You have to bid on it, and then that's you have a choice,
right?
So I could have picked whatever numbers there were, and for some reason I was sitting there all night, and I was like, nobody is picking 13. Yeah, I was like, nobody's picking 13. I was like, I bet you. I was like, they did that on purpose. I was like, they put the unlucky number, they put the Hulk one, the $1,000 book, the most expensive book up there. It's 1 in 3 odds, and 13 is still up there. I picked 13. Opens it up, and I was super stoked because I was like, oh, cool, I got a Spider-Man #1. And then the silver edition, and I was super hyped on it. I was like, cool, I got a cool slab. And then when he flipped the book over, because he would open it like this, and then he'd flip the book over, and at that point, you would see if you had a sticky note on here. So when I saw the back of this book, I almost puked. I am not kidding you. My heart went right into my stomach. I felt like I was going to throw up, realizing that I paid more than double for this book. Double for this book would have been $230. Nope, I paid before taxes and shipping $35 more than that. More than double. So be careful. Bottom line, that's my story with this slab. It's kind of a horror story, and that I almost refuse to get rid of it because I paid so much money for it, because I know I'm probably never going to get my money back for it.
Right. I mean, maybe in like 40 years.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a cool book. My son's favorite hero is Spider-Man, and like that's kind of where I'm at with this. Is that like this is, if my son is really into Spider-Man when he gets older and wants a slab, like this is, I'm gonna give it to him, and like this is gonna be his first slab that I paid a bunch of money for, and it doesn't even matter at that point, because then I'm passing it down to my son,
right? And
he's getting into it, and then that value, that makes it more worth it to me than just, I could go and sell the book for $100 right now because I know I'm never gonna get my money back, but if he wants it, then that's worth the $265 to me.
I bet there comes a time where you get that money back. I have a feeling. It's not going to be anytime soon, though.
Yeah, it's going to be years down the line, and I don't think it's going to be anytime soon either.
I feel like with how cool this book is, like if you're going to sell this thing for $100, I'll give you $100 for it. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a cool book, especially because now on the census, there's more yellow labels of this book than there are blue labels. So my book in a 9.8 is more rare than a yellow label.
Oh, okay.
In a signed book by Todd McFarlane.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's Todd McFarlane, dude. It's Spider-Man. It's 9.8.
Yeah, he's another one of my favorite artists. Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee. My two guys.
Yeah, this thing is dope. It's a cool book regardless. It just sucks how you got it.
It's the circumstances and how I got it.
But I mean, you already did it. You already did it. You already went through that. You know what I mean?
This has actually been like a thing for like a month and a half, 2 months now.
I know.
This happened a while ago.
It's been floating for a little bit.
Yeah. And
you've told me like bits and pieces of the story. But I never knew the whole thing.
Yeah, I've just been so ashamed of the story and like how it happened, but at the same time I'm like, you know what? This could make a good video. So I'm just going to go for it, put it out there and embarrass myself a whole bunch on how I overpaid for this book and how I'm such a dummy, but
where did you put the card that was on that stand?
That card is on that table.
Well, funny enough, that card I got in a very almost identical way.
Okay.
All right, so we grabbed the card. I got this card. It is a CGC 9 Mewtwo EX. So it's just like a holographic Mewtwo. This is not like a crazy great card by any means, but I almost got it in the exact same way that you got the Spider-Man. It was a mystery bag. You picked a number, all this stuff. But the difference in mine was it was a buy now.
Oh.
So it was the same thing. So he had a bunch of manila folders with all different slabbed cards in them. Mine was only $69. It wasn't quite that dramatic, but I ended up breaking even. So
right.
Like the thing was like you spent like you spent $69 on every slabbed card, every mystery bag, but the card could be worth $20 or it could be worth up to $300.
Right.
But there was like 600 bags or something like that. So, I mean, realistically, if I would have gotten like the worst card out there, I'd still only be out like 40, 50 bucks, you know, something like that. And that's why I was willing to do it. But I mean, I love Mew. I love Mew too. And this was actually my first slabbed anything that I ever got. So like that was special to me too. And I mean, it's a cool card at the end of the day. I'm probably not looking to sell it anyways. Like that's not what I go after a lot of the time with my collection. Every once in a while I will. But yeah, same thing. A mystery bag, I'm like, but what if I get a $300 one though? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was like my thought, and I immediately realized how addicting gambling is, and that I'm not going to a casino anytime soon. I'm done officially like gambling like that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it anymore. After doing that and seeing, just because like I said, my adrenaline got so hung up in it. And it was I got so tied up in it that I carelessly spent that money.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, it's easy to do.
And I realized how addicted I got in that one day, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm just not doing that. I'll straight up bid and stop myself, and if I think I'm overbidding, like I'll just stop. You know what I'm saying?
that's the difference. Is like you can, I mean, telling both stories of mystery bags and the stories on Whatnot, and like this doesn't happen every day on Whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not what we do on Whatnot. That's not what we do on Whatnot. That's not really what they're intending to do. You know what I mean?
Started them at $1. So it was the audience and it was the people that were in there that were bidding these books. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's an auction. It's an auction.
And so it's not at all the Whatnot seller.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No, it's not. I'm not saying anything like that.
It's not gambling in that sense. Like the gamble is like it's a mystery.
Book. My face is a magnet to this thing.
I mean, it's not really. I mean, it is, but I mean, realistically, like slabbing and, you know, investing in things like this is all kind of a gamble at the end of the day. Cause, you know, next year, a book like this could be worth $600 or it could be worth $10 or, you know, it's not that drastic, but you know what I mean? It's just like the same thing as stocks. Like if you invest in a stock, it could go down tomorrow or it could go up tomorrow.
The one thing that with the stocks is that this really isn't going to go past what it is right now. You know what I'm saying? It might go $90, $85 on the low end. Somebody could get a good deal. You know what I'm saying? And it could bring the book down just a little bit on what the real value is worth. But things like this, it's not going to go down. Somebody is willing to pay $100 at all times for this book.
Right.
You know,
unless like something crazy happened, you know, unless like the whole world decides they hate Todd McFarlane, but I don't see that ever happening. You know what I mean?
I mean, they'd have to hate Todd McFarlane. They'd have to hate Spider-Man. They'd have to hate Stan Lee and the whole 9 yards.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
so, I mean, that's the thing, like a stock or investing in some other things could just flip on the, you know, on the flip of a coin.
Which these can flip, but I feel like these can only flip up. You're never going to lose more than realistically $10 to $20 worth of what this comic is, unless, you know, once you get into the higher, you know, you're spending over $500, $600 on a book, they're going to fluctuate.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? $1,000 books.
Oh yeah.
$15,000 books, they're going to fluctuate and by thousands. You know what I'm saying? In hundreds once they're up that much. You know. But they're never going to just like a $10,000 book is always going to be worth $8,000 to $10,000. It's never going to be worth $10.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
You know, nothing is going to change that.
I mean, unless like something happened to this and the slab broke, or you know what I mean?
Well, I'd have to devalue.
Yeah, something could happen.
Book.
It's like the same thing with like it's almost like you could miss. I feel like you could miss a window. You know what I mean? If something happens in like the universe, or something happens with Todd McFarlane, and like people all of a sudden go searching out his stuff, that book could shoot up tonight.
And that's when you got to sell.
And then 3 months later, that spike is gone. Yeah,
it'll go back down to what it is. It might shoot up right now. It could shoot up next week to $265, but by the end of that week, it's probably going to go back down to $150.
Right.
You know, and they move up and down like that, but you're never gonna like just completely lose money,
right?
You know, like stocks and end up sometimes owing money.
Yeah,
you know, and that's the scary part about it. It's never gonna do that to you. So this is safer than stocks.
A lot of this stuff is investing, you know, and investments have that uncertainty sometimes. You know what I mean?
Just that little bit of slight risk.
I mean, it's just like the way that you got it. There's uncertainty in it, you know.
Yeah.
And there's things that happen, but these things don't happen every day on whatnot. You know, I think the whole purpose of this video was just be careful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
And not that you didn't have the money, because obviously the slab is here,
book is
but
here,
like just be careful. You know, hitting that bid button can be addicting. If you only have $100, don't bid more than $100.
Yeah,
you know,
don't go and spend your rent on a book.
Yeah.
You know, don't be late on your rent for a book,
unless it's
stuff
King
like
and
that.
Black, then
You know, I mean, you have to, if you're gonna do it, you know, make it worth it, and don't overbid on that book because, you know, you didn't know what was inside that bag.
Yeah,
I mean, just watch out. Make sure, you know, if you're gonna, you know, in this point, it's a game, it's a mystery bag game. Just watch out. Just be careful. Yeah. Know what you're getting into. Know the warning in gambling.
So you want to sell it for $100? I'll buy it.
I don't think so.
Y'all. Just be careful out there if you're throwing around. I mean, it's just, you can walk into a comic book shop and do the same thing. You just start seeing all the covers, start seeing all the variants.
You don't know who's overcharging for that sticker. There's a comic shop around, I'm not going to say who.
Yeah.
That definitely double charges for their books. You know, they have books that are $600 that are $1,000 and won't move on it because the 9.8 CGC slab is $1,000 and yada yada. But be careful, guys.
But it's like, what I was getting at is like, I can walk into a comic book shop and just start filling my hands with books, and then I'm like, that's $5, that's $5, that's $4, that's $6, and then I walk up, I'm like, all right, that'll be $250. I'm like, oh, I grabbed too many. or I don't know if you saw our spotlight or our vlog a couple weeks ago when we picked up all the big pops. It's easy to start grabbing stuff, but just know when you need to stop, and you know, it happens. It happens, y'all. It happens to the best of us.
Yeah, and the worst of us.
What?
But yeah, that's how I did that. Guys, like, comment, and subscribe. You know,
follow us on Patreon for bonus content and material.
Yep.
And this has been Collective Comics.